All right, giving all praise, all glory, all honor to Yahweh, by Hashem Yahweh Shai, by Hashem Rakakudash, and double honors to the apostles and elders of the great millstone GMS. Peace, mercy, and grace to the household of faith, the holy elect, the remnant of the nation of Israel, beginning with the 144,000, the servants, the prophets, to the rest of the 1/3 men, women, and children of that elect fold. Shalom, and welcome to another quick lesson. I was thinking about something that I noticed in a previous lesson I did, and I wanted to touch more into it when I saw here in Revelation 17 chapter in verse 5, when I went into the word harlot. When you look at the metaphoric usage, letter A, number 2, letter A, it says of Babylon, i.e. Rome, the chief seat of idolatry. And I was thinking, this is a blue letter going off, but really in the spirit, it actually isn't. But you have to, it has to be a spiritual catch. So, basically, where it can be, where you can get deceived by this is it says of Babylon, i.e., which i.e. means that is to say. So when you see I dot, E dot, that means it's actually Latin. Matter of fact, let's get it. Let's just prove that. Okay, i.e. abbreviation, that is to say, used to add explanatory information or to state something in different words. All right, so when it says Babylon, that is to say Rome, the chief seat of idolatry. Now, somebody that's not spiritual, if the Holy Spirit isn't really working, what you'd understand is you would read this and you would think that Babylon, according to this source, Blue Letter Bible, is speaking about ancient Rome, right? The Roman Empire, because that's what was the power seat in that time when, John, wrote these visions down, Revelations. This is the same empire that put our Lord and Savior to death, put the apostles to death, persecuted the Christians in the church, right? And that's not the case. All right, Babylon that's being spoken of here in Revelation is not talking about ancient Rome. So let's address that first. The Babylon is speaking about hadn't even come into the earth yet. Because in this same chapter, when you go down to verse 9, it says, no, we'll start at verse 7, because this woman that's being spoken of is actually John seeing America. She's a representation of America. It says, and the angel said unto me, wherefore didst thou marvel? I will tell thee the mystery of the woman and of the beast that carrieth her. The woman is America, the beast that carrieth her is these European nations, which have the 7 heads and 10 horns. The beast that thou sawest was and is not. Okay. So America, the beast that he saw, which is America, ultimately, it didn't exist yet. It says, and shall ascend out of the bottomless pit. The bottomless pit represents Europe, because ultimately you had the British that came here from Europe. All right, and from the British, the United States gained its independence from them and became a separate entity, but really still controlled by England. The British. So it says, and going to perdition, which perdition is destruction, right? Because ultimately, as we prophesied that America is going to be destroyed, and they that dwell on the earth shall wonder, whose names were not written in the book of life from the foundation of the world, when they behold the beast that was and is not and yet is. All right. I'm going to jump down to verse 10. And there are 7 kings, 5 are fallen and 1 is, and the other is not yet come. Okay. And the 5 that were fallen is talking about the Greeks, the Spanish, the French, and Germania Major and Germania Minor. Okay. And it says, and 1 is, and the one that is at that moment was the Roman Empire. It says, and the other is not yet come. Okay. And that's talking about the British Empire. And when he cometh, he must continue a short space, because the British, they did their thing. And ultimately that led to, them coming over here and colonizing the East Coast. They tell you they landed in Jamestown in the 1600s. Then ultimately, as it goes on here, verse 11, and the beast that was and is not, even he is the 8th, and is of the seven and goeth into perdition. The seven head was the British. And again, from the British comes the eighth head, which is America, and it goes into perdition because the scriptures, all the prophets prophesied against the destruction of America. All right, the destruction of America coincides with the salvation of the Negroes, blacks, Hispanics, Native Americans, all right, so-called being the children of Israel. All right, so, from there, let's go to Daniel, the 7th chapter real quick. Daniel 7 and 8. I considered the horns, and behold, there came up another horn. Excuse me. Let me jump up to verse 7. After this I saw in the night visions, and behold, a fourth beast, dreadful and terrible and strong exceedingly, and it had great iron teeth. And this is the Roman Empire. So Daniel is prophesying of the Roman Empire in this vision that he's seeing. He's seeing the Roman Empire, a very strong force in the earth, very strong military. It says it devoured and brake in pieces and stamped the residue with the feet of it. It was going around conquering, making everybody in the known world at that time pretty much a vassal of it. It says, and it was diverse from the beasts that were before it, and it had 10 horns. Okay, it didn't have the traditional monarchy. A man ruled and his son come after him, then his son come after him. They had senates. They had the two-wing system, the plebeians and the patricians, which today we call the Democrats and Republicans. And it had 10 horns, which represented the 10 vassals that it had, underneath it. All right, verse 8, it says, I considered the horns, and behold, there came up among them another little horn, before whom there were 3 of the first horns plucked up by the root. So the horn that came from amongst this Roman Empire ended up being America, because America was created, by Europeans, which were Edomites. They came here with the spirit and intent of pretty much re-forwarding Rome in the earth. All right, because Rome was the shit. The Roman Empire was the glory of Esau Edom, in his rulership. He started ruling through Alexander the Great, the Greeks, and then ultimately he ended up pretty much getting establishing himself in the earth as the Roman Empire. And it says the three of the first horns plucked up by the roots, which represent the Spanish, the French, and the British, which these are some of the main influences in the early beginning stages of the United States. Then you had Dutch that came here too, but it's really talking about the Spanish, the French, and the British. And it beheld in this horn were eyes like that, the eyes of a man in the mouth speaking great things. So we were talking about America. So when we talk about Babylon, again, it wasn't Babylon the Great, because you have Babylon the Great that's been spoken about in Revelation, right? So Revelation 17:5, and upon her forehead was a name written, Mystery, Babylon the Great, the mother of harlots and abominations of the earth. Yeah, Rome was wicked as hell, but it wasn't talking about them, because we just established that pretty much this is talking about a place that didn't exist at that time that would exist at a later time. All right, and Rome was already doing a thing, and what happened was Rome fell. When you read Revelation 13:3, that the beast would receive a deadly wound, and then that wound would heal, which represents that empire, the Roman Empire, falling and then coming back, right? And it came back as America, the eighth head that came of the 7. Now, the next point I want to make is, because it is spiritual, because it said Babylon, that is to say Rome, which technically in the spirit that is true, because Babylon the Great, which is America, is also spiritually Rome too, because this is that let's go ahead and go there real quick. Revelation 13:3, and I saw one of his heads as it was wounded to death, and it's Rome. This is talking about Rome being wounded to death. It fell in 476 AD, the Western Roman Empire. All right, after it ended up dividing itself, the Western Roman Empire, the Eastern Roman Empire, and then the Western Roman Empire, fell in 476 AD, and his deadly wound was healed, and all the world wondered after the beast, because it came back in what they call the Renaissance, which Renaissance means the rebirth. All right, the rebirth of the Roman Empire in the earth. Okay, so Rome is back in the earth, and it is being pushed forth from Babylon the Great. And it's funny because I'm actually I'm about to become a notary, and I had to learn the origins of being a notary. And interesting enough, the origin of being a notary goes back to the Roman Empire. It goes back to the Roman Empire, and you had European colonists, which again were Edomites, that brought that here to America. Matter of fact, I had made a quick note of it, just a little side note, fun fact. It came from It came from England by colonial settlers. And the first notary public was in New Haven, Connecticut, 1639. So it came from England, and the English had that custom from the Roman Empire. So it's you can't make this up. You can't beat it. You can't beat it. So this is Babylon the Great, which is in the spirit. It's Rome too, but you can get tripped up if you are not in the spirit here, and you can think that what it's talking about here. Because at first, when I first saw this, I was like, oh man, Blue Letter going off. They going off. I gotta, you know what I'm saying? But no, it's actually, you can say it, yeah, technically in the spirit, it is right. Babylon is to say Rome, the chief seat of idolatry, but it's not, again, it's not talking about that Rome. It's not saying that Babylon the Great is ancient Rome. Babylon the Great is America, which comes in the spirit, in the rebirth of ancient Rome. All right, Lord willing, this was edifying. On to the next one.